Just 4 more days before voters head to the polls for Tuesday's primary. PIX11 continues to be your election headquarters. We're making sure to bring you each of the candidates in the race for City Hall. Joining me this morning in person, former Sanitation Commissioner and one of the apparent frontrunners now in the race, Kathryn Garcia. Good to see you this morning, and thank you for being here in person in studio.
Oh, I'm so happy to be in studio.
I know. I haven't seen you in a very long time, and I want to get right to our latest PIX11 News Nation Emerson College poll. Let's throw it up right there. It has you in the top 3. Right, with 17%. And then in our ranked choice simulation, it actually has you down to the final 2 once you eliminate Wiley and Andrew Yang. What is your reaction this morning to that polling?
Oh, this is going to be a tight race, but everyone's got to get out there to vote. But we are at play. We intend to win this thing.
Ranked choice voting is new. It is the largest ranked choice voting in the country now, right here in New York City. Are you urging people, is there a strategy to not only select you as number 1, but as a 2 and a number 3 as well?
Look, I have said from the beginning, don't overthink this. Pick the person you want the most, and then just go in that order. Like, if I'm not in the race, who do you pick next? If I hadn't chosen to run. And don't try and game it, because there's so many ways this could work out.
Are you going to be participating in ranked choice voting? Do you have a number 2 that you would select?
So I did vote, and I did rank my ballot on the first day of voting, and I have to say that since I took my 2 children and my mother, I know I have 4 yeses in my column.
There you go, there you go. So from our polling, you could very well be the next mayor when you take in the undecideds and you look at the 3.7% that was plus or minus right there. What is then, on day 1, the number 1 issue? I've heard you talk about a lot of things. What is the number 1 issue you want to address on day 1?
On day 1, we have to be dealing with the crime situation so we can open up this economy and bring people back to work. You can't do it if people don't feel safe.
And so let's talk about that, because crime is the number 1 issue in our latest poll as well. It has remained there for the entire time that we have done polling through this campaign season. We're seeing gun violence plague this city. Gun violence is up. On day 1, how do you tackle guns on the streets?
You know, I have a full plan, but the first thing is we've got to expand the gun suppression division, the folks who do the real investigative work, and we need to expand gun buyback programs, make sure that every gun we can gets off the street. We have to invest in communities in the long run and make sure they're guaranteed jobs for our young people, so there are real options, real opportunities.
But do you think that it's not happening right now, right? Do you think that they're not trying to get the guns, or is there something different that a Kathryn Garcia administration would do?
You know, I'm about smart policing, about following the data, and making sure that our NYPD has the tools they need to be successful.
You are against defunding the police. During our PIX11 mayoral forum, you said, quote, "We can have reform where everybody feels safe." New Yorkers obviously demanding that, right? They want to feel safe. What are 2 things you would do to implement changes within the NYPD?
We have to have 0 tolerance for discipline. We need to make sure that folks who are brutalizing people are fired. That's really not that hard to do. I've done that as a uniform manager, but we also need to increase the age of when cops start to 25 and make sure they live in the city.
Now, police commissioner, do you have one in mind?
I have the characteristics of a police commissioner in mind, but I'm waiting until after Tuesday before I name anyone to a cabinet.
What are some of those characteristics? Can you give us an insight?
I want to make sure that it is someone who has law enforcement experience but has done the culture change that we need in another organization.
Female, male?
Well, I'm not ruling out men, but I definitely want to make sure that my administration reflects the fact that 50% of New York City's population are women. And when I win on Tuesday, we're going to break that 400-year-old glass ceiling. There
you go. Number 2 on our list of concerns was housing. So let's talk first and foremost about rent freezes. Are you in favor of them?
In terms, we've got to follow the data on rent freezes. We know that we are having people who are coming out of COVID, and we could face an eviction crisis. And thankfully, there is money at the state level to support tenants and to support small landlords. You know, there are a lot of mom and pop landlords in this city who need the rent in order to make the utility bills.
So for those who are facing evictions, right, hundreds of thousands of people, how do you keep them in their homes? Is it giving them a check? Is it giving the landlord a check so they can make the money? And where do you get that from?
So there is this huge pot of money coming from the state to bridge that gap. People didn't have income during COVID because we basically shut down for so long. and we can step in and fix that. I mean, this is where the money from the federal government's going to matter.
Let's talk about NYCHA for a second. You served as interim chair while we were on the topic of housing. We report here on issues, you know Monica Morales very well, on the issues of NYCHA. What is a solution, since you were there on the front lines, to fix the backlog of problems so we're not in this hamster wheel of fixes?
This is the frustration. We have a plan for NYCHA that would actually attack the $40 billion worth of need. It is partly through what is called the RAD program, which makes it so that you can do all the renovations, and it's been completed at some of the developments, and they're beautiful. Ocean Bay, Betances, Baychester, Murphy, Campos, all of these have actually gone through it very successfully.
So not privatizing it?
No, none of it is privatized. You keep your same lease.
I want to talk about equal pay for women in government. You had a lawsuit that was filed against you in the department by 13 women who said they were unequal. They weren't paid as much as their white male counterparts. They were women of color. How do you address that? And moving forward in the Kathryn Garcia administration, do men and women make the same?
We absolutely have to make the same. Women make 82 cents on the dollar compared to men. And I know that I left the department more diverse than I found it and promoted 50% more people of color into leadership. When I'm mayor, we've got to go even further.
And Juneteenth is this weekend. We obviously saw it became a federal holiday yesterday. The mayor promised that he would make it a holiday, but New York City workers are still working.
Yes.
Sanitation
workers will be on the job
Kathryn
tomorrow.
Garcia administration, do you give city workers the day off for Juneteenth? How does that work?
Absolutely. You sit down with labor, you negotiate it, you get it done. You don't make a press conference or a press release and then try and figure it out. You got to do the work.
All right, Kathryn Garcia, we're giving everybody equal time here, so we're simply out of time, but I appreciate you coming in. I know you're an early riser, so this wasn't a hard task for you, but thank you for being here.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here and thrilled to be in person.
Yes. So head on over to PIX11.com, everybody, /New York Elections, where you will find our Vital Voters Guide with more information on all the candidates, including Ms. Garcia. We also have explainers of the new ranked choice voting systems, and we are just 5 days away from primary day.